Hello and welcome to TechieTalksAI. In today's video, we are going to see how we will be able to set up a contact form and capture and save the details from the contact form using just make.com and Google Sheets. So no backend coding required, no backend server to manage your contact form submit button, just pure no code brilliance.
Hi, welcome to TechieTalksAI. I'm Sri from Shogini. On this channel, we showcase hands-on demos and insights into AI, automation, and no-code tools. We have created several make.com modules to simplify no-code automation for you. Subscribe and join us on this journey into the future of technology.
So let me explain the flow that we'll be seeing for today. So we'll be starting with a custom contact form. So this is going to be our custom contact form. So we will be having this contact form page that is available, and there will be different sections available like the name, email, message, etc. And finally there will be one submit button, and when you click the submit button, what it will do is it will make a call to one make.com scenario. So this will be a make.com scenario. Make.com scenario, and inside this one webhook will be listening to this particular submission, and with the help of this make.com scenario, what we'll be doing is we'll be storing the details to a Google Sheet document. So this make.com will be connected to a Google Sheet document. So this is going to be Google Sheet document. Okay, and inside this Google Sheet document there will be different sections to store the first name, last name, message, etc. So this is the process that we are going to see today. So no code, just using make.com and Google Sheet, how you can make your custom contact form work. And later on, as part of this series, we will see how we will be able to add more features to it. Like we will be seeing how we can check for the relevance or validity of the contact form submission. And we will see how you can use AI to see how we can respond to that particular contact form in an automatic manner. Okay, so let's get started. Like always, all the codes that I'll be using today will be available within the TechieTalksAI repository. So I'll add the link to the Git repository in the description below. So when you clone your repository, you will be seeing one folder called make.com, and once you cd into this make.com repository, there you will see another folder called contact form. So this is the folder that we are going to use for today. So now if you cd into the contact form folder, and there you should see one index.html. So in today's video, we are only using one code, which is our custom index.html, which will be our custom contact form. So let's have a look at our custom index.html file. So this is the repository inside make.com, inside contact form, or index.html. So it is a very simple HTML which will act as our contact form, and here you can see we are collecting different items: the first name, then the last name, email address, phone number, and also the message. So these are the things that we are collecting, and you will see the submit button also added here. Now we are using simple JavaScript to capture and manage the submit action. So this is the submit action. So when the user submits, we are capturing the details from the different fields within our contact form. And this is just for validation for our different fields and also email validation. And this is the section where we are preparing the payload to be sent to our make.com scenario. And here what we have to do is we have to replace this with the actual make.com webhook URL. So I'll show you how we can do that. and these are the data that it will be sending. So all the data it captured, like the first name, last name, email, phone, message, all those things will be passed as a JSON string to our make.com scenario. And if the response is okay, it will print one thank you message, and if submission fails, then it will show one error message. So this is our custom contact form. Now let's see how this contact form looks within a browser. So if you open this contact form within a browser, you will see we have the options like first name, last name, email, phone number and message, and here first name and email address are the only things that are mandatory, and finally we have a submit button. So this is a very simple contact form. So the aim here is to show you how you will be able to link any contact form like this to a make.com scenario, so that you don't have to write the backend, you don't have to worry about the backend. You will be able to process the submission of your contact form in a no-code format with the help of just make.com and Google Sheets. Now let's take a look at the Google Sheet that we will use to capture the contact form details that we gather from our end users. So this is the contact form that I am using. So this is my experiment sheet, and there I have one sheet called save contact form. Here I have added different headings. So here you can see the first name, last name, email, phone number, and also message. So these are the fields that are coming from our contact form. So these are the data, these are the different data that we are collecting from our custom contact form, and we will be populating these fields based on the value that we receive. Okay, and here we have the date section. So this date section is to add the date on when that particular message was submitted. Okay, so this is our capture sheet. So this is a Google Sheet which we are going to use to store our custom contact form submissions. Now let's look at the make.com scenario that we need to create. So I just created a new scenario, and I am going to give the name as capture and save contact form. So let's start with the scenario. So the first item, in order to create a scenario which can be used as a way to capture some information based on some URL submission, you have to make use of the Webhook module of make.com. So let's go ahead and do that. We are going to use the Webhook module of make.com, and this is the one, custom webhook. So under webhooks you will see one custom webhook option which will be triggered when the webhook receives the data. So this is the module that we need. So we'll click on this custom webhook, and now we have to create one webhook. So you will be able to select some webhook, or you will be able to add a new webhook. So here you can see we have to give one webhook name, and then optionally you can give an API key authentication. So in production you should always make use of this API key authentication, but since I am just showing you a demo, I am not going to make use of this API key authentication. But remember, in production, to make your submission secure, make sure to enable this feature. So let me just give the webhook name. So I am going to give the name as say my custom contact form webhook. So I'll just give some value in here, and I'll click on save. Now when you create the webhook, you will be getting this webhook URL. So this is the URL that we need to add to our contact form in order for us to link the contact form with this make.com scenario. And when it comes to the data structure, you will be able to edit and add your own data structure, or you can make to get the data structure based on the data that it is getting. So I will be using that method so that it will be easy for us to manage. So let's do that. We need to connect this webhook to our contact form and then make a submission so that it will identify the data structure. See this one, currently it is listening for the data to determine the data structure, and you can see the stop option. So it is currently listening. So we have to now perform the operation. So in order to do that, we have to first copy the address to the clipboard. So let's copy that. So I just now copied the address to my clipboard. Now we have to update our contact form. So this is our contact form. So this is the code to our contact form. So here you see this your make.com webhook URL. So this section you can just replace with the webhook URL that we just now created. Okay, so now let me just save this. So now let me just refresh this file so that it will get the latest code. Now let me just make a submission. So I am going to give, say, Abhijit, and I'll give my last name, and I'll give some dummy email. So abhijit@abhi.com. I'll give some dummy phone number, say 123.123.123.1, and then I want to give one message. Hi, this is my first submission to test the connection. Okay, so now all you need to do is to click the submit button, and as you can see, we are getting the thank you message since the submission was successful. So now let's go to our make.com scenario, and here you should see this option, see, successfully determined. That means make.com received the submission that we made just now, and it was able to determine the data structure. So all set on that side. So let me just save this one. Okay, always remember to save the scenario as well. Now as you can see, the previous execution data we are not seeing here. So before we can add our Google Sheet, it is always better to run this once again. So what we'll do is we'll run this. So now the webhook will be waiting for a submission. So let me just make another submission. So I'll use the same submission, say Abhijit BJ, say Abhijit@abhi.com, say 123.123.123.1, then demo submission, and I'll click the submit option. So now it has submitted, and if you go to the make.com, you will see this one. So now make.com is getting all the details that I provided within my contact form. So it contains the first name, the last name, the email, the phone number, and also the message. So the first part is done, where we successfully captured the data from the end user using our contact form and successfully send that particular data to make.com in a proper structured manner so that we will be able to now use it. So the next step will be to save these details to our Google Sheet. In order to do that, we are going to add one more module to this one, which is going to be Google Sheet. So this is the Google Sheet module which we are going to use. So let's select this Google Sheet module, and here we have to make use of this add a row because we already have the sheet available. Now what we need to do is, corresponding to each submission, we want to add a new row to that sheet so that it will be saving that captured data. So I am going to select this add a row. So now make sure that you add a connection to your Google account. So if you don't have a connection, you can click on this add button to create the connection. Just follow the steps that will be shown in the screen to add your connection. Now I'll have to specify the Google Sheet that we want it to add the row to. So I'm going to go for select from all, and here I am going to click on ID Finder, and here I am going to give, say, my experiment. So my sheet starts with my experiment, right? So it should be able to properly identify the sheet. So see this one, it identified the sheet and got the spreadsheet ID. Now we have to select the sheet name from this one. So this is the sheet name that I have used, which is save contact form. So I'll select that one, and since our sheet contains headers, we are going to enable this particular option, because in our contact form you see this header section, right? So we don't want that header to be replaced in any format. We want that header to be considered by make.com. So that is why we are enabling this table contains headers option, and there you will be able to see the different values. Now the first thing is to add the date. So here, in order to add the date, you will be able to go to this particular section. You can click on this section, and there you will be able to see the date related items. So if you use this now option, it will get the current date and time and use it. So the time when this particular scenario will be executed. And you can also use this format date to format your date to any specific format. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to format by my date in this particular format. It will get using now I'm getting the current date, and then I want it to be formatted to this particular format. So what it will do is it will add the date first, then the month, then the year, then it will add the hour, minute, and then followed by AM or PM. So this is the format that I want it to have. Now we have to populate the remaining fields. So the first name. So this we will be able to get from the webhook, which was the previous module. So we will select this first name for this field. Then last name, we will use this last name. Then email, we will use this email. Then phone, we will use this phone. And finally message, we will use this message. And now we are done. All you need to do is to save this one. So let me just save it once again. So now the scenario is ready. So I'll just save this scenario. So now the entire scenario is ready. We have a contact form which is connected to the make.com scenario webhook on submission, and when the make.com scenario gets that particular submission, it will be populating the Google Sheet with the details that are captured. Now the last thing that we have to do is to enable the scenario. So here you will be able to see this one. If you enable the scenario, it will immediately trigger when a data arrives. So we have to enable this scenario. So you will be able to select when you want it to be run, but we want it to be run immediately when a submission is there. So we'll use this immediately option and click save. Okay, and finally make sure to save your scenario as well. Now everything is ready for our submission. So let's go and perform another submission. So I'll just refresh my contact form, and here I'll give my details. My first submission via the contact form. So I'll just add some message, and now I am going to submit this. So the submission is successful. Now if you look at the history of this particular scenario execution, you will see this one, it executed successfully one time, and if I click on that history, I'll be able to see this one, it is getting the data which I submitted, and it added those details to our Google Sheet. So let's verify the Google Sheet. So this is our Google Sheet, and here you can see this one. This row is added just now with the help of this automation. So that's how simple it is for you to capture and save your contact form submission with the help of make.com and Google Sheet. And here you can see this one, date. It is using the format that I am using. Then everything else it is capturing. So simple, right? That is the advantage of using no-code solutions. Without you having to write any code, you will be able to set up sophisticated ecosystem. And we at Shogini Systems provide no-code automation solutions using make.com, Google Sheets, and other AI tools. We are also experts in AI automations and chatbot integrations. I hope this was helpful. See you in the next video with the next part of this one, where we'll be seeing how we'll be able to process and analyze this submission. We'll see how relevant the submission is, whether it is related to sales, whether it is related to support, or even whether it is a spam. So we'll see how we can do that in the next part. So stay tuned.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Your support really helps. Have ideas or suggestions? Drop them in the comments. Let's build together. At Shogini, we offer expert no-code-make.com and Python AI automation consulting with ready-to-use modules to jumpstart your projects. Stay tuned and subscribe for more.